When you wake up in the morning, before you check your phone, before you dive into the noise of the world, there is one thing that determines the quality of your day, your state. The way you breathe, the way you move, the way you ignite your body and mind in those first few minutes. It all becomes the foundation for how you will think, act, and respond. Think about it. If you start sluggish, tired, and unfocused, your mind automatically follows that state. You move slower, you react with hesitation, you doubt yourself, and you carry that heaviness into every conversation, every challenge, every decision. But when you start your morning by generating energy, physical, emotional, and mental, you flip a switch inside. You walk differently, you speak differently, you begin to own the day instead of letting the day own you. Energy is not something you wait for, it's something you create. You generate it by moving your body, by controlling your breathing, by feeding your mind with powerful thoughts instead of distractions. Most people don't realize this. Your physiology is the fastest way to shift your psychology. Stand tall, breathe deep, move with intensity, and your brain immediately gets the signal that you're alive, alert, and ready. The truth is, success does not belong to the most talented or the most educated. It belongs to those who can command their state, who can bring energy into every room they walk into. People feel it when you operate from energy. They trust you more. They want to follow you. Opportunities open because you project certainty and vitality. So when your alarm goes off, don't hit snooze. Don't give in to the pull of comfort. Rise with intention. Prime your body. Stretch, exercise, breathe deeply. Prime your mind. Speak words of strength. Visualize your vision. Command your focus. Prime your emotions. Choose gratitude. Choose joy. Choose to feel alive. By doing this, you're no longer a prisoner of your circumstances. You're the architect of your day. Remember, life will throw challenges at you, stress, setbacks, distractions. But if you start strong, if you charge yourself with energy, you're not reacting from weakness. You're responding from strength. And from that strength, everything else follows. Your decisions, your productivity, your relationships, your results. Your morning state is the spark that lights the fire of your entire day. Guard it, protect it, create it. Because once you master the ability to generate unstoppable energy on demand, you no longer just live the day, you lead it. Every morning when you open your eyes, you're faced with two options. Drift into the noise of the world or step into the driver's seat of your own mind. The truth is, most people wake up and let the day take control of them. They reach for their phone, scroll through endless distractions, and before they even stand up, their focus is already hijacked. That's not a life of intention. That's a life of reaction. But when you choose to take control of your mind at the very start, everything changes. Direction comes from decision, and decision comes from clarity. Without it, you're like a ship with no compass, moving but never really advancing. When you know exactly where you want to go, your energy, your focus, and your actions all line up like arrows aimed at a target. That's when power kicks in. Think about the most successful people you know. They don't stumble into achievement. They see it long before it arrives. They wake up with a vision. They ask themselves, asterisk, what do I want to create today? Who do I want to be today? What outcome matters most? Asterisk, when you ask better questions, you get better answers, and better answers shape better actions. The morning is the perfect time to program your mind with this clarity. It's quiet, it's free from the demands of the world, and it's the space where you can connect deeply with your goals. Take a few minutes each morning to write down what truly matters. Define the top 3 outcomes that will make the day a win. Visualize yourself already accomplishing them. Feel the emotions of that success before it even happens. That feeling becomes fuel. When you operate with this kind of clarity, decisions become effortless. Instead of wasting time debating what to do, you know exactly what deserves your energy. Distractions lose their grip on you because your mind is already locked on what's important. Confidence rises because you can see the path ahead, and with confidence, momentum builds. Clarity doesn't mean you'll never face obstacles. It means when those obstacles appear, you already know why you're moving forward, so you don't quit at the first sign of resistance. You keep going because your vision is stronger than your excuses. The reality is simple. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but if you wake up and set your course, you become unshakable. You create focus where others live in chaos. You move with intention while others wander aimlessly. That's the difference between living a life of randomness and living a life of purpose. Start your mornings by setting the vision. Decide who you are, what you want, and what you will create today. Because once your mind is clear, your actions gain strength, your decisions gain speed, and your results gain certainty. And when that happens, the day doesn't just unfold. You command it. Most people wake up and move through their mornings on autopilot. They drag themselves out of bed, grab their phone, scroll through messages, sip some coffee, and rush into the day without intention. That's not living. That's surviving. Success doesn't come from going through the motions. It comes from consciously designing the first moments of your day to shape your state, your focus, and your results. The difference between routine and ritual is simple. A routine is mechanical. It's something you do without thought, often just to get by. A ritual, on the other hand, is purposeful. It's infused with meaning, energy, and intention. It's not about doing things out of habit. It's about doing things to elevate your mind and body to the highest level. When you turn your mornings into rituals, you condition yourself for success before the world even has a chance to test you. Imagine starting every day with practices that charge your energy, align your focus, and fuel your spirit. That's how leaders, creators, and achievers operate. They don't wait for the day to give them power. They create it through ritual. Think of it like this. Athletes don't just step onto the field and hope to perform at their best. They have pre-game rituals, warm-ups, focus exercises, mental preparation that prime them for victory. Your life is no different. Your morning is your arena, and your rituals are your warm-up for success. These rituals don't have to be complicated. They could be 10 minutes of powerful movement to wake up your body, deep breathing to flood your system with oxygen, gratitude practice to shift your emotions, or visualization to lock onto your goals. The key is not what you do, but the intention behind it. When you treat these practices as sacred, not optional, you begin every day with strength instead of stress. The beauty of ritual is that it programs your subconscious. Over time, your mind starts to associate the morning with empowerment, focus, and momentum. You no longer need to search for motivation. It becomes automatic. Just like brushing your teeth, it becomes part of who you are, but unlike a routine, it's charged with purpose that feeds your growth. Ask yourself, what are the first 20 minutes of your day telling your brain? Are they saying, I'm distracted, reactive, and scattered? Or are they saying, I'm powerful, intentional, and ready to lead? The answer determines how you show up in every conversation, every challenge, every opportunity. When you design your mornings with ritual, you stop living passively and start living deliberately. You rise with purpose, not pressure. You enter the day with clarity, not confusion. You create momentum before anyone else has even started. And that momentum doesn't just stay with you for the morning. It carries into your work, your relationships, and your entire life. The first minutes of your day are sacred. Treat them as a ritual, and you'll no longer just start the day. You'll command it. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of what you feed your mind. Every morning, you have a choice. You can consume negativity, distractions, and noise that weaken you, or you can fuel your mind with ideas, beliefs, and knowledge that strengthen you. What you choose to focus on in those first moments of the day will echo throughout the hours that follow. Your brain is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant grows. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, that's exactly what you'll harvest. But if you plant seeds of courage, possibility, and vision, you cultivate a life of progress and power. That's why it's essential to be intentional about what you allow into your mind, because your thoughts don't just stay in your head. They shape your actions, your habits, and your destiny. Too many people wake up and immediately drown themselves in negativity. They scroll through social media, watch the news, or focus on problems instead of possibilities. And then they wonder why they feel stressed, scattered, or hopeless. The truth is simple. Your mind is a reflection of what you feed it. Garbage in, garbage out. Strength in, strength out. If you want to create a powerful future, start by giving your mind powerful fuel. Read books that inspire growth. Listen to voices that lift you higher. Engage in ideas that challenge you to think bigger. Surround yourself, even virtually, with mentors, teachers, and examples of the kind of life you want to create. Every page, every podcast, every word of encouragement is like fuel that expands your vision and strengthens your belief in what's possible. But it's not just about information, it's about transformation. Don't just read or listen passively. Apply what you learn. Ask yourself, how can I use this today? How does this move me closer to the life I want? Knowledge alone isn't power, it's potential power. It becomes real power when you use it to shape your actions. Morning is the prime time for this feeding because your mind is fresh, open, and most receptive. What you put in first thing in the day sets the filter for everything else. If you start with negativity, you'll notice negativity everywhere. But if you start with possibility, your brain will look for opportunities all day long. That's how you begin to create a future that reflects your highest vision. Remember this: the world is full of distractions that compete for your attention. But your attention is the most valuable resource you have. Guard it. Direct it. Use it to build the life you want, not the one society hands you. Every time you choose to nourish your mind with wisdom, positivity, and vision, you're investing in your future. Because the thoughts you entertain today become the reality you live tomorrow. And when you fuel your mind with greatness, your future can only expand in the same direction. Every day you wake up, there's a weight that tries to pull you down. It might be stress, doubt, old memories, or the noise of challenges waiting for you. That weight is real, and if you let it, it will anchor you to the ground of frustration and negativity. But there's a force just as real and far more powerful that can lift you above it all. That force is gratitude. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about shifting the way you see the world. When you train your mind to notice what's working instead of what's missing, you immediately change your emotional state. Problems shrink, possibilities expand, and your energy rises. In that moment, you're no longer living as a victim of circumstance. You're living as the creator of perspective. Most people think happiness comes after success. They believe when I achieve this goal, then I'll feel grateful. When I get that promotion, then I'll be happy. But the truth is the opposite. Success follows gratitude. When you choose to see abundance before it arrives, you create the state of mind that attracts opportunities, solutions, and growth. Gratitude doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It creates it. The power of starting your morning with gratitude is undeniable. Before the demands of the day grab hold of you, take a few minutes to recognize what's already amazing in your life. It could be your health, your breath, the people you love, or even the challenges that have made you stronger. The size doesn't matter. What matters is the shift. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and from enough, you build more. Science even backs this up. When you practice gratitude consistently, your brain literally rewires itself. Stress hormones drop. Resilience rises. You train your nervous system to focus on possibility instead of fear. That's why the most resilient people aren't the ones with perfect lives. They're the ones who've learned how to see the good, even in imperfect circumstances. And here's the secret. Gratitude is not passive, it's active. It's a daily choice. It's looking at the same world as everyone else, but deciding to see the light instead of the shadows. And once you cultivate that lens, you carry it everywhere, into your work, your relationships, your goals. People feel it when you live this way. You become more magnetic, more trustworthy, more inspiring, simply because your presence lifts others instead of weighing them down. Life will always have its gravity, those forces that try to pull you into fear, doubt, or limitation. But when you anchor yourself in gratitude, you rise. You rise above negativity, you rise above stress, and you rise into the version of yourself that is capable of creating greatness. Every morning, choose to start from that elevated place. Because when you live from gratitude, the weight of the world can no longer hold you down. Every great idea in the world means nothing until it is acted upon. You can visualize, plan, and dream all you want, but the gap between where you are and where you want to be will only close when you move. Progress is born the moment you take that first step, no matter how small. The biggest mistake people make is waiting. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for the perfect time. They wait until they feel confident, until the fear is gone, until everything lines up just right. But waiting is the enemy of momentum. Motivation doesn't show up before action. Motivation shows up because of action. Once you move, you create energy, and that energy fuels more action. Think about it. The hardest part of working out isn't the workout. It's putting on your shoes and starting. The hardest part of writing a book isn't finishing chapters. It's sitting down to write the first sentence. Action is the spark that sets everything else in motion. Without it, dreams remain stuck in your head and potential remains locked away inside you. Action doesn't have to be massive to matter. What matters is that it's immediate. A small step taken today is worth more than a giant step you plan to take someday. Because that small step builds momentum, and momentum is what carries you forward when willpower alone can't. Success is less about intensity and more about consistency. Daily action compounds into unstoppable progress, and here's the truth. Clarity comes from action, not before it. You don't need to know the entire path before you start. Take the first step, and the second will reveal itself. With every move you learn, you adjust, you grow. Waiting for certainty is like waiting for the ocean to part before you swim. It doesn't happen. You create certainty by moving forward. There will always be fear. There will always be doubt. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of fear. The moment you move despite the uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than hesitation. That single act rewires your brain to trust yourself, to know that when you commit, you follow through. Morning is the best time to practice this principle. Instead of delaying, instead of negotiating with yourself, take immediate action that aligns with your goals. Do the workout, make the call, write the page, speak the words. That first decisive move sets the tone for your entire day. Life rewards those who act, not those who wait. Doors open when you knock, not when you stare at them. Opportunities reveal themselves to those already in motion. And when you commit to action, you no longer live in the land of someday. You live in the power of now. Because in the end, it's not the intention that changes your life. It's the movement, it's the decision, it's the action.